For more than a decade, FTI has strived to become the leader in the aftermarket performance transmission and converter industry. We've joined forces with McLeod Driveline Components under the leadership of Top Fuel Funny Car pilot Paul Lee, and now have a larger distribution network, more resources, and more power. Come see us in the pits and ask how you can join the FTI family. It's not cheating, it is the competitive edge.
This is WFO Radio.
Hey everybody, WFO, Joe Castello back with you as we get ready for the Amalie Oil NHRA Gatornationals. The East Coast will be open this weekend. Super excited to head up to Gainesville beginning tomorrow. It is going to be great. And this is the race that I've attended the most of any NHRA national event over 40 straight years. I'm super excited. And we're going to have the voice of the NHRA, Alan Reinhart, who is here in Florida, called the Baby Gators just days ago. Going to connect. We're going to preview the race. We're going to talk about the Pep Boys Top Fuel All-Star call-out race and the dynamic that's going to bring to the table, the call-outs, and what does it mean and how it works. We're going to get into all of that. Pro Modified, if you didn't hear Lyle Barnett and J.R. Gray go at each other's throats yesterday on WFO. It was great. It's in the archive waiting for you on WFOradio.com. You can definitely check it out. Download our free mobile application, and you can watch and listen to all of our shows. Had Taylor Tomiski and Flying Ryan, who's got something going on Thursday night as well as we got ready. And we're maybe, it's not certain yet. Is it certain yet? It's not certain yet, but we might actually have a winner interview with Robert Height tomorrow. You'll just have to wait and see whether that goes down or it doesn't go down. Before we get to Alan Reinhart, I want to shout out to the people who make it possible for me to go WFO, like Total Seal Piston Rings, the leader in ring seal technology, TotalSeal.com. There will be a trackside tech talk on Friday at the Gator Nationals. That's right. Approximately 1 o'clock. We'll give you the deets as we get closer, but Total Seal Trackside Tech Talk East Coast version. We had one in Texas, and we had one in Vegas, and we've had them all throughout, out in Pomona, of course. But you want to have one on the East Coast, and the Gator Nationals is the race. So all the Lucas Oil Series racers and all the sportsman racers, and even people in attendance, if you're going there, be sure to attend the Trackside Tech Talk so you can learn a lot about ring seal and all the things that they've got going, even on in the Nitro ranks. Kind of cool. TotalSeal.com. Already told you about FTIperformance.com. DeLand, Florida is where they are based. High performance torque converters, transmissions, from .90 cars, bracket cars, to very powerful multi-thousand horsepower street cars. FTI has got the performance transmissions. Tell them you heard about it on WFO Radio. Samtech.edu, the School of Automotive Machinists and Technology. Brian Massengill, they did such a great job with what is now the Conson Aviation Factory Stock Showdown. They'll be launching this week as well. Can't help but think of all the Samtech grads that are in that category and help grow it and make it what it is today. Maybe you want to get that kind of education. You want to go to Samtech, go to samtech.edu, get Brian Massengill on the phone and tell him you heard about it on WFO Radio. Everybody is Gainesville related, if you think about it. Like Frank Hawley's drag racing school, the Dragster Adventure, and licensing courses. Where did that get started? When Frank decided to launch his school, he could have done it anywhere. He chose Gainesville Raceway in Florida, and it makes perfect sense because of the weather. FrankHawley.com. But remember, the Dragster Adventure travels around the country. It's not just at Gainesville Raceway. Sometimes it's there, but it travels around the country. And get them on the phone, give them a call, tell them you heard about it on WFO Radio. Courses start at $399. And then there's Marvin Rodak, Rodak'sCoffeeandGrills.com, 817-924-6821. The news is out. Marvin Rodak and Nitro Joe Morrison, along with Leverage Racing, have partnered on a deal to create the Nitro Joe Morrison Nitro blend of coffee. So if you want to get in on it, first out, give them a call, 817-924-6821. Tell them you want the Nitro Joe blend and you want to go all in with Leverage Racing. And I've already experienced it and I've tried it and it's fantastic. You will definitely love it. Plus hot sauces and spice rubs and tools and tips and information. And then later on in the show, I'll tell you how to become a Patreon like Britt, who today is Britt's birthday. Britt, who has the Cutlass with the WFO stickers, right? That's a great way to endear yourself to me, is run the WFO radio stickers. I know I'm a little shallow, but it's true. It's true. The easy way to my heart is to run the WFO sticker, but Britt's a Patreon, and today is her birthday. Happy birthday, Britt. All right, let's go out to parts unknown, Daytona Beach, Florida, somewhere out there. Mr. Alan Reinhart is going to be inducting. You've got a Hall of Fame thing going on, tomorrow? And I've got a Hall of Fame thing going on Thursday with Garlett's, the International Drag Racing Hall. It's like we're Hall of Famers, Al.
Mine's actually tonight, and I'm inducting Terry Vance and Byron Hines, so quite an honor to be chosen to do that. Apologize for the backdrop, but I'm sitting in my hotel room, and if I tried to show you the view out the window, it's so incredibly backlit that you can't see anything anyway. So, but it's a lovely day in Daytona, and it's been an interesting couple of days. This is the Motorsports Hall of Fame of America, the one that is actually housed inside the Daytona International Speedway, and drove down on Monday. The last couple of days have been some interesting things. They've had a dinner last night and a breakfast, and we had a really cool. Danny Sullivan came in and spoke to everybody about the famous spin and win. If you've never seen that, you're not an Indy 500 fan. But back in 1985, when he spun out, passing Mario Andretti for the lead, didn't hit anything, and then came back and won the race. So he told that story from about every angle, and it was just it's been a really, really interesting and fun couple of days. Looking forward to tonight. Get to put on a tuxedo and go hang out with the rest of the Penguin crew.
The Penguin crew. Yeah, I got mine as well for the Garlet Steel, and exciting. I was against Sullivan in that moment, as a Mario fan. That was not something I was excited about. But now looking back, it is great. And I understand that Danny Sullivan was part of the group that was actually trying to save Palm Beach International Raceway. I bracket raced there this past Saturday night, and it was like my last drag race there. And so now, we're grasping at straws as the last days and weeks of Palm Beach International Raceway, formerly Moroso Motorsports Park. Very sad. Hopefully Danny can do something, but it's not looking good.
Did you win? I mean, my last race ever at Tucson Dragway, my beloved home track, I won. So you should have won.
I didn't. I failed miserably. I went in there. I did have a 12 reaction time and a 001 first round, so I got a nice spot. But I did find some new challenges, ways to lose, and that's it. It's over. So no point in even thinking about bracket racing the GTO anymore, because here in South Florida, a region of 4 million people, many of them automotive enthusiasts, we will not have a real drag racing facility. Of course, we'll have pit road, test and tune at Homestead Miami Speedway, and I'm thankful for that. We'll have a Immokalee Regional out at the airport in the middle of the Everglades. Definitely thankful for that. But as far as like a real track, we will not have one. But there is actually hope. There's a meeting of the county commissioners and the city commissioners. They're going to do like a final meeting. I believe the date is April 28th. I will be traveling to Houston, but a lot of people are going to go, and they're going to put in a last-ditch effort. I will give that information a little bit more. You know how it is, Alan. Like, I don't think people understand what they've got until it's gone. And now people are like, oh, my gosh, man, you know how it is, Alan, with street racing and people with fast cars. They've had a track for 60 years, and now you're not going to have that available. Is everybody just going to stop racing and having fast cars? I don't think so. And I think people in the local racing community, car community, business community are going to try their best to make sure that those folks know what it means to have the track.
Well, I hope it works out for them. We saw during pandemic shutdowns some street racing explosions because racetracks were not allowed to operate. It happened huge in my neighborhood in Tucson, Arizona. Denver had a huge problem when Vandermeer was forced to close. They had the same problem in St. Louis. I think it's in a situation like that, at least you knew, okay, we have a way to fix this. We just have to reopen our racetrack, and not saying that, the problem magically goes away, but it certainly gets better. And that would be a tragedy if you lose a track down in South Florida, and then everybody realizes, maybe these people did need a place, to release this pent-up racing energy, but it'll be too late then. So I got my fingers crossed for you. I hope that you guys can figure out a way to save it or to do something at least.
Well, exactly. Do something at least. And I've spoken with people. I've done a fair share of reporting behind the scenes, and it's very sad because these tracks were all built in the same era, like Miami Hollywood Speedway, 1966, and PBIR, like I think 1965, and and that whole tour that Buster did, kind of coming south, barnstorming, Orlando, and Gainesville. They were all built in around the same era when drag racing was like brand new, and we needed it, and we wanted it. And property values, you're seeing it out there in Daytona Beach, right? Like everybody wants to come to the great weather state, and we need warehouses apparently. But I just feel like you're not ever going to build a brand new racetrack. It's just not going to happen down here. We got to keep the one we've got. You can build warehouses anywhere, but that's what it's all about. We don't want to get too sad, but I lost, on my feet, 060, dead 9, got beat 27, 2 over, whole shot. Wasn't the worst loss in the world, but I lost nonetheless. Did have a great time, though. Had a great time out there at PBIR and said goodbye to everybody. Got on the mic for a few minutes and made sure that everybody in the stands knew, because they're kind of trying to keep it hush hush, right? They want to keep they don't want people to get restless. And I just told a couple stories and made sure that everybody knew that, hey, there's something going on with this track. Be on the lookout. But let's look ahead to the Amalie Oil NHRA Gatornationals through the context of the Baby Gators that you called on NHRA.tv a couple days ago. I was going back and forth between you and Johnny Moto. He's out there at Wild Horse Pass. You're in Gainesville. Pretty cool deal. Give us some of the hits, right? I know that Labuse won Super Gas. I know yes. Corey Taylor won Super Stock. Stock was Tim Barrett. Comp was Billingsley. Super Comp was a battle of the Bayou with you're calling him Trenny, and I call him Trene. I don't know who's right or wrong, but versus Holden Larice. Anything else stick out in your mind at the Baby Gators?
Well, Tim Barrett, that's that 69 Z28 Camaro. We've told the story before. It's an original Z28 that he took all the driveline components, everything out of it, and kind of put them in storage while he and his wife were enjoying bracket racing the car and having fun. When they retire from that, he's going to put it all back to original and hit the car show circuit. So he picked up his first number 1 qualifier and his first class win. Remember, they run Gatornationals class at the Baby Gators, and he won the race. So it was a pretty big weekend for them. One of the really cool things was Alan Krimkow in Super Street. You know that car, right?
Is that the Gremlin? Which one is that?
The Gremlin won Super Street. So,
that cool, might be attention in the pits. That's a spectacular car. It's like one of the nicest Gremlins. We might have to do that.
And it's just a fun thing because, it's such a fun car. And so to see him going around to be able to talk about it, we had 16 alcohol dragsters to qualify for an 8-car field. So that was a heck of a shootout. We didn't have quite as many funny cars, but man, we had some pretty stout ones down there, and they put on a good show as well. So top to bottom, it was a good weekend. We had good weather. We didn't have a whole lot of delays. We had a fun weekend, and everybody now is ready for the Gators, and hopefully we'll have good weather for that as well.
Yeah, shout out to Will Smith, right?
Yeah.
Talk about a person who has, for those that don't know, Will is he's a good guy out there, and he does, PR and marketing for PDRA, and he's got this dream to go NHRA racing. He's been doing a couple of races a year with Harada, put together a 1-race deal with Samsels, and they go out and they win, right? Like, way to go, Will. Congratulations.
Yeah, Randy Meyer had both of his cars there. Of course, Matt Zachman was driving the one. He didn't have a very good qualified, but ended up out in round 1, and then Julie in the final round just flat got outrun in a really good race. But having 16 cars battle it out for an 8-car field made it pretty special. And it looks like, one of the rule changes has brought the performance of the A fuel cars back a little bit. Because when I'm looking at the entry list, looking at the weather, looking at this stuff, and I'm going, we've got the potential here to have the all-time quickest bump spot in NHRA history. Didn't happen. And then somebody reminded me that, the rules changes. And I went, didn't factor that in. But it looks like that is having the desired effect, which is, to, without having to spend any money, bring the performance back a little bit. The A-Fuel cars were starting to run away from the blower cars a little bit. And it's a better class when you've got both of them. I think everybody will admit that. So,
what was the specifics of the rules change? Because I'm with you. I did not catch on that one.
They raised the minimum fuel temperature.
Okay.
And that really had a pretty serious effect. Everybody at least inside understands when you chill the nitro for an injected car, it makes a huge difference. And so a few years ago, they instituted a minimum temperature because guys would be rolling into the staging lanes with the fuel being, 20 degrees. And so that's why if you ever see an injected nitro car being towed through the pits or sitting in the staging lane, it's got a blanket wrapped around the front of it because that's the insulation around where the fuel tank is. And when they come up and check it, they're trying to keep the fuel as cool as possible right up until the moment they fire the car. So they raised that minimum temperature, and that is, at least so far, looks like it has the desired effect. It slowed the cars down a little bit.
Well, that is good, and that big rivalry between the blower cars and the injected nitro cars is something I want to keep going. I don't want to just see one or the other because I feel like that's part of, you got to have alcohol cars and top alcohol dragster. Otherwise, like, what is it? Right? You would think, right? You got to have alcohol cars. It's such a unique situation out there on the starting line. We want to make them competitive. And if we can do it by just changing the temperature, do it. And it's good to hear that it worked. All right, so let's look ahead. The Gator Nationals is obviously a standout crown jewel event. The finals, the U.S. Nationals, Summer Nationals in Englishtown now gone, Gator Nationals, like I kind of, and the Winter Nationals. But those are really the crown jewel events. And we could talk about maybe Vegas, too, is becoming one of those because of so much elements. But this is the event that I know the best. I walked in at 7 years old, and I've seen all the changes over the years. This is one that everybody wants to win. Points, they matter, but not really. It's just getting a Gator Nationals victory. And 1 year ago, Josh Hart shows up at his first one in Top Fuel, and he wins it. Hey, this is easy.
Right.
Pretty amazing.
Well, and there's so much more going on this year, with the Pep Boys call-out race, which is going to be the first time we're doing that. And as you mentioned in the open, first time we're going to see Pro Mods, first time we're going to see the Constant Aviation Factory Stock Showdown, first time we're going to see a lot of the East Coast cars. I believe Bellamere is going to start his title defense in Alcohol Funny car here, even though he ran out in Pomona. That was in their family car, not Tony Bartone's car. So there'll be a lot of stuff going on. We just need to have good weather to make it happen. And, the race track last weekend was great. Lane choice didn't mean nothing. It, which one you want didn't matter. Just, so that since they resurfaced the racetrack a few years ago, that has been a huge improvement. I'm just really looking forward to it. I believe there's 21 top fuel cars that are planning on being here. So that should make for a really fun final qualifying on Saturday when we get to that point. And we just need to have good weather. And the forecast right now is a little iffy, but Florida. I've been here when there was an 80% chance of rain and we raced, and I've been here when there was a 10% chance of rain and we snorkeled out to the rental cars. So I am hoping that the weather ends up better than the forecast, but nothing you can do about it. So we'll just have to wait and see.
Well, exactly. And a bunch of people texted me and they were like, please let me know when they cancel in advance so that I can. I'm like, man, you don't know this deal, do you? We are not going to cancel in advance because it will definitely race. It will be a beautiful sunny Florida day. And then the same people will be complaining that they had canceled. No way. I've been to too many Gator Nationals. Like you said, it rains, it doesn't rain. It rains for a while. It goes away. We're going to get this thing in.
Yeah, we did that once. We pulled the plug Saturday afternoon for the weekend because forecast was crap and everything was junk. And then of course the sun comes out. Sunday's the most beautiful day in the world. And you can't plug it back in. Once you send everybody home, you can't call them back. And so, no, there's no chance it would be canceled in advance. The only time I believe that's ever happened was like hurricane heading for Houston. And that's a little different situation. But no, I'm with you. I hope that we're going to be able to get the thing in. I just, there's so much stuff to do. And, with the call out race, with it being the first time we see the Pro Mod, it just takes away if you don't get all the qualifying sessions, if you don't get the whole show in. So that's why I'm hoping that it'll all turn out okay. And we're going to end up with whatever we end up with, but I got my fingers crossed.
Exactly. Hey, Lauren has got a question about Rachel Meyer and Top Alcohol Dragster. Rachel told us on WFO last year that she was probably going to kind of follow in her sister's footsteps, much the way she did in the race car with the championship, and start a family. And I am under the impression that that's the situation.
I have not spoken to Rachel, but I understand the same, that, she's not planning on coming back to the car right now, but she's left the door open to potentially do something in the future. So, in the meantime, Randy's still out there running both cars, and potentially that's an opportunity for somebody else to get a shot.
All right, let's talk about the Pep Boys All-Star Top Fuel call-out race. This is something that is so cool in that it is doing what we have all really hoped for. Mike Salinas was on last week, Alan. I don't know if you saw him, but he said some really cool and, almost extreme things, right? Like he name-checked Sean Langdon. It was really funny because he's like, watch out, Sean Langdon. This could get you in trouble. If you talk too much, like I'm about to do when I say I'm ready to kick all their asses. Quote, Mike's like, Mike, wow. Like, I'm so glad you're doing that. Like, that's what we need. And the guys we had on yesterday, Lyle and JR, they have no problem doing it. This is an opportunity. Steve Torrence is going to get to go and then we'll see where it goes from there.
If you're Steve Torrence, what would you do?
If I'm Steve Torrence, well, I don't want to like plan it out because I don't want to ruin it, because then he'll listen to me and he'll do what I said and then it'll be ruined. Now, I would pick one of the lady drivers is what I would do. I would pick one or the other of the lady drivers.
Okay, fair enough. If I'm Steve Torrence, because he's the only one that guaranteed he's got a call out.
Yes.
If he calls out the number 2 or the number 3, then somebody who thinks they've got a call out no longer he's the only one that's guaranteed. If I'm Steve Torrence, I'm going on Facebook and I'm telling the fans, you pick. It's like a get out of jail free card, because he ain't scared of nobody in the field. Right. He's certainly not going to be running and hiding and ducking from anybody. And it's a get out of jail free card. Then he can go, hey, look, I don't hate you, Joe. The fans wanted to see us race.
Yeah. The fans think you're weak, and then I would easily defeat you. Those fans, can you believe them? I would never think such a thing. But the fans, and the fans are never wrong. And so, yes, that is definitely a cop-out to the deal. I would like to see Steve stand up there and I want everybody to do what is, because, we were having this debate at the track the other day. There's what is the best way to win the race? Right. And then there is what is the most entertaining thing that can happen? And they're not necessarily parallel all the time. I'm hoping for the most entertaining thing. Do the most entertaining thing. Pick the thing that everyone's going to go, ooh, that's what I want to see.
But racers want to win the race. I mean, it's as simple as that. Tony Pedregon years ago, when they did an interview with him and said, who do you like to run in the final? And he said, somebody with an oil leak, because wanted to win the race. Didn't care how it happened, just wanted to win the race. So, I just hope that everybody has a little fun with it and everybody's not afraid to, do a little smack talking back and forth. We're all going to settle it with the race cars on the track anyway. So why not take the Mike Salinas attitude and go, hey, I came to kick your ass, because that's why they're there. Everybody's so afraid to admit it. But the number of times that I've talked to people over the years, and it's like, you don't have to be disrespectful, right? It doesn't have to be, I hate Joe and Joe's a loser and Joe doesn't know how to tie his shoes and, Joe doesn't like kittens. And it has to be, I came to kick Joe's ass. Simple as that.
Yep.
And that will make the fans sit up and pay attention.
and if you did happen to kick my ass, I would, take it like a man, go back, work. Sorry, ladies. That was very sexist, old school of me, but it's just a saying. Take it like a, hardworking, respectful adult, and then go back to work and try to kick yours the next race and make a bigger deal of it at that time. And Alan, JR, and Lyle yesterday, they did a perfect job of it, showing and they understand and they want to show the way to the rest of the field out there. They want to show the way to the Nitro racers that this can be done. Like, for instance, right before the interview, Lyle knew that JR was going to be on. JR was not going to have time to send me what Lyle sent me this, because Lyle cut his head off on the starting line in Vegas. And JR's texting me, hey man, how did he get that on the screen? I was like, dude, he texted it to me right before we went on the air. And the media wars, right? These guys are experienced at the media wars, and it means nothing to them. They're not taking it personally. They're not feeling disrespected at all. They are just kicking the game, just kicking it around. And we've got some people that have the capability to do that. Maybe it'll get a little hurt after being defeated afterwards, but there's another race real soon. Go do it again.
See, and you said you would just take the whooping like a respectful adult. Not me.
Yeah.
I'm walking up second round with a handful of roofing nails and throwing them on the start line when you do your burnout.
Exactly. And isn't that what people want to see? And I really think, and I want your opinion, but this Top Fuel call out, right? The call out concept, I think people are still a little slow to understand what it means and how it works. And we're going to explain all of that. But I think it's maybe one of the most talked about concepts that we have had in Nitro Drag Racing in a long time. I mean, we had the Big Bud shootout. That was a lot of money. We had the Traxxas shootouts. That was kind of like the Big Bud shootout, but Traxxas was sponsoring. This is different, and people are liking it. Langdon's tweeting about it. Salinas is talking about it. Salinas wants to gamble, right? And so I'm hoping I can hold the money, because doesn't that guy get a cut?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely he does. No, I think, I think once everybody sees it, they'll understand. There's still a little, well, but what about this or what about that? Once you see it, you're going to understand. And I also really, really enjoy the fact that just, after they did the concept, they made the change, because it had always been, well, after the first round, they'll just be naturally laddered. And it's like, okay, well, how do you naturally ladder? Depending on who calls out who. And so when they made the change and said, okay, low ET winner from round one gets the call out in round two. I mean, there's going to be 4 cars left. So, if I call you, then Steve has to race Fred. Or if I call Fred, then you have to race Steve. But it's going to continue. So in a perfect world of team cars, okay, let's just say, hypothetically speaking, Doug and Sean both win one round and Doug's got low ET. He ain't calling out Sean because he wants to race his teammate in the final. So that gives him an opportunity to do something when maybe on a normal ladder he would have had to race Sean. So that gives him an opportunity to go, hey, look, we're a team and we get it. And we're coming after you guys. We're not going to take each other out. So like I said, once everybody sees it, they're going to understand the entire concept. The other thing that could potentially play in with 21 cars being on the property, we are going to go into Saturday, and there's a real possibility that 2 or 3 or 5 of these cars won't be qualified for the Gator Nationals. Now, does that change your strategy when you're going in? Like, if on Friday night I make a good run, right, I'm qualified third, I ain't worried. I might now come up and take a swing at you. And if I smoke the tires, I smoke the tires. But, however, if I am not qualified after Friday night and I have to race you round number 1, I might be more concerned about making darn sure I'm in the Gator Nationals than I am about trying to take advantage of you. And so there's going to be that dynamic that plays in as well.
Interesting. Derek says, I want Salinas to call out Coletta. I think it's a must. That's assuming he gets a chance to call out, because maybe Steve will call out Salinas or maybe Brittany, but we don't know. But it sounded like maybe that would be it. So everybody put in the comment section who you want to see whom call out. Right? Like who should call whom out. And let's get a general poll right now going on. Lauren wants to know about Hector Arana's team and if they'll be racing. I did not see Hector Jr. on the entry list. I know that Lucas Oil pulled some funding from them after many, many years, and I understand it. But Hector had run some races. I believe they still have their equipment. But I don't know is the answer. I don't know. Do you?
I don't know about Gainesville. I do know that Hector is planning on running some races this year. So again, I don't know about Gainesville, but he is planning on hitting the racetrack. And by the way, did you notice Billy Torrence is on the qualifying on the entry sheet? So, apparently Mama K's not going to make it park the thing for the whole year. He didn't bring the thing out this year. And part of me has to wonder if that might be an information ploy that they'll now have 2 runs on Friday before they go into the shootout. So, we'll see.
Okay, so like you don't watch the no prep racers, or maybe you do. I watched a little bit, and we were talking with the guys yesterday about it, and that's the pinnacle of no prep and all that stuff. But one thing that happens in that deal is sometimes they've got this team concept going, and it's like, we're on the same team, Alan. And so I'm going to call you out, but you're going to beat me and advance to the next round because of the money. And we need the money. And, when you said that Doug wouldn't call out Sean, I said to myself, well, thank goodness that this is NHRA drag racing, right? But what if they said, you know what, man, this is 80 grand. Not that Conrad cares, but we'll get one car in the final round. We'll give him a time run right before the final round. Like, I think that would be, not what people want to see, but well within the rights of this deal, right? Like, racers can choose to handle this however they want.
Agreed. And, we'll wait and see. Like I said, that's why I say after it's done the first time, everybody will see how it plays out. And, there are different ways to take team orders. Everybody always says, I don't mind racing my teammate if it's in the final. But in a situation like that, if you're going to guarantee you got a car in the final, maybe that is the better choice, especially if, hypothetically speaking, you and I haven't been running that good, right? We both won Pedal Fest to win the first round, and
right.
The other two guys both made great runs. Yeah, maybe if we had the choice, I'd like to run you and guarantee a car in the final instead of taking the opportunity of both of us getting kicked in the teeth in the semis. So, who knows? We're all going to find out.
Who knows? And Jason Galvin out there, who says that Johnny West is going to do 12 races with Billy, which is what we're all excited about. And yeah, that Johnny West being over there kind of is part of a question somebody had a little bit earlier about something that Salinas had said that I want you to address, which is we've got more cars than we have crew chiefs to run the cars. Like Mike said, crew chief shortage was something like there's shortage of materials and shortage of supply line and shortage of gas and shortage of all this stuff. There's also a shortage of crew chiefs.
That's true, especially championship caliber crew chiefs. There are certainly guys out there that can put a car together, make it start, and send it down a racetrack. Austin Coyle thinks I could do it, but does anybody think I could win a championship? Nope, nobody I know, and that includes me. Yeah. So, the pipeline, and it's kind of interesting because one of the inductees into the Motorsports Hall of Fame of America tonight is Dick LaHaye. And here, the Oberhofer brothers, Nicky is here. Obviously, his daughter Kim is here and his son is here. But, the men that came up under him learned how to tune fuel cars and went on to be crew chiefs, and he turned a lot of them out. I think AJ has turned out a few, or at least got a couple of them set on the right path. There's a few other guys out there, but the stuff ain't easy, and you got to put in your time. You got to, there are people that are coming through the pipeline, but you look at, Eric Lane, who was just getting started after working through, I don't know what you call it, if not graduate school, right? All the years that he was the number 2 guy and that he was the car chief and then he got taken away from us. So I think that, there is a pipeline out there, but right now there may be a little bit of a shortage of top-notch crew chiefs.
Exactly.
Part of the other problem is that so many guys want to have 2 of them, right?
Right.
If Chris Cunningham and Jimmy Prock weren't both working on the same car, would you say both of those guys are capable individually of being a championship caliber crew chief? I sure would. Yes. But they have decided that they're better together, and so they teamed up.
And Joe Barlam said about Ron Tobler, like this was Joe's perspective, and I'm sure that there are people who maybe feel like they can do it, but he says if to run at the highest level, you got to have 2 guys. You just got to have 2 guys. I focus primarily on this, and Ron kind of gives a second pair of eyes. He focuses primarily on that. I give a second pair of eyes, and he goes, it works real well. You got to have 2 if you're going to run at the highest level. But that gives opportunities to the next wave. Like, look what's happening with Neil Strasbaugh out there on Leah's car. And that's why I want to see that team be successful. And to tie it together, maybe if Steve doesn't call out Brittany and Brittany gets to call out someone, maybe Brittany will call out Leah. And that might be the biggest call out of the whole thing.
Could be. Yeah. It should be interesting. It's also, and we've talked about this before, it seems like the best crew chief combinations are when one of them is a little on the conservative side and the other one is a hold my beer and watch this kind of guy, because they kind of balance each other out. It's very difficult to go up to the batter's box every time going, okay, I'm going to hit a home run, I'm going to hit and do it consistently. But if you want to win races, it's also very difficult to do that if you're going to go up every time and go, okay, I just want to bunt. I just want to bunt. So that's why if you get one guy from each side of the fence together, then as a general rule, you've got a pretty good combination of guys that are going to make it happen for you.
Super exciting. We're only talking about Top Fuel. And this guy says, how many top Nitro crew chiefs do you think there are, without calling out any names? That's a good question, right? Like,
in Top Fuel, 6.
Okay, there you go. There's your answer.
There may be more that will prove themselves over the course of the year, but if I said right now, hire a crew chief that is going to put you in a position to win a championship this year, that's not going to be a long list.
Right. Interesting. Looking at the entry list, just amazing, the names, right? Like, Alex Laughlin, first race of the year. Tripp is back. Tripp Tatum, that's a car that I feel like could probably win a race based on what we've seen. Artie Allen, he runs the Florida races, right? And Aaron Brooks built that car and got him going. Ike Meyer, Lex June, first race of the year. Spencer Massey in the Dakin car. That those guys can lay down some passes and Spencer can leave. Spencer's, like, in my opinion, the best driver that doesn't drive full time. He can go out there and be, if he had a full-time ride, he would be a class leader in reaction time up there with Austin and Justin Ashley and those guys, Antron Brown. Pretty amazing. Doug Foley back, and obviously Mike Salinas. 21 Top Fuel dragsters. Krista Baldwin, got to mention Krista. Krista, first race of the year. Talking to Krista out in Arizona, she's like, man, it's going to be tough. Like, maybe we picked the wrong place to debut, but wanted to debut at the Gator Nationals.
That's, why wouldn't you? If you're not going to go to Pomona, and Phoenix is my home race, and I love Phoenix dearly, but if you're not going to go to Pomona, especially if your equipment lives in the Midwest or on the East Coast, then the Gator Nationals is just the natural. That's where you want to go. You want to get out there at the big race. You want to get out there on the big stage. So, it's going to be a war. And you look at some of those cars, and I think Krista's a perfect example. If she's thinking, geez, 21 cars, maybe we picked the wrong race, but they've got good help over there. They've got good parts. Bobby Laganis tries to help them. They've got a lot of people pulling for them. If they can go out there and just put down a decent run, all of a sudden now, that's one spot that's gone. And some of the guys that you automatically pencil in are going to have a tougher time getting in. It would not surprise me to see one of the championship caliber cars from last year end up on the outside, simply because there's so many cars. And all somebody's got to do is make one good, clean, decent run. And that can change the whole dynamic.
Exactly. Are you surprised that Lee Beard isn't maybe he is getting phone calls, but there's a guy, he was just inducted into the International Drag Racing Hall of Fame. I know he loves his fishing. If you watch him on the Facebook, this guy's fishing constantly. But I just, I wonder, like, there's a guy with some great experience. If there's a crew chief shortage, maybe he's going to get a call from the bullpen.
I would be stunned if somebody hasn't called him. And I haven't spoken to Lee in a while, but I really kind of got the feeling the last time I talked to him that he was pretty much moved on. That was a chapter of his life that he appreciates. He had a lot of success. He did everything he wanted to do. And now it's time to go do something else. Not saying that somebody couldn't get him to come back, but somebody has to have called him by now and said, hey, what's it going to take? And I have a feeling that he's just got to the point where he's like, you know what? Just not interested anymore. I think Tim Richards the same way. I think Tim Richards has been called, hey, would you consider? And he's like, no, that's a chapter of my life that's closed. I've moved on. I'm enjoying what I'm doing or not doing now. I don't want to go back to the hotel and airport life. And so you just, it's not like you got anything to prove. So I think, some of those guys have just decided it's time to move on and let somebody else decide who the next hero is going to be.
And at the same time, like, my personal opinion, strategy wise, is that it's better for the sport. And no offense to, older guys. I hope to be one soon, someday, right? Like, I hope to make it. But I think it's better to promote youth to help the sport in the future. And even if it doesn't work out necessarily, that experience, you fail forward, right? And promote some of the younger guys into positions of responsibility. Like Dickie Venables has got a great team over there with Knutson and Conaway. Like those guys are really sharp. One day I have a feeling that they'll be crew chiefs on some team somewhere, if this sport is able to continue on as long as we want it to. Let's move over to Funny Car, where it's kind of weird though, Alan. What's up with Funny Car? Like this tough category, like we got all these top fielders showing up. We got 16 Funny Cars. Kind of bizarre. Blake Alexander, Jim Head making their first attempt of the year. John Smith, Dave Richards, couple of Paul Smith Florida Tune cars going to be there. And, like we got right on 16 Funny Cars. All great, by the way. Going to be very tough to win in Funny Car, but just not the masses that we got in Top Fuel and Pro Stock.
Well, I think that, Robert scared them all away.
That's it.
Yeah, there was going to be 30 of them, and then they looked at the results from the first two races and went, ain't got nothing for the Auto Club boys. We just might as well stay home. No, I think, it has always, as long as I've been out here, and it was long before I got here, it has always kind of rolled in waves. Sometimes Top Fuel cars, there's more than you need, and Funny Cars are minimum or short. Sometimes it's gone the other way around. Right now I'm happy we have 16. I'm happy we're going to have a full field. I hate seeing buy runs on Sunday. So if we're going to have 16 cars out there and have a full field, then good. Come on, have at it, boys.
Yeah, well, exactly. And it's full fields or not. Simple as that. Is it full field or is it not a full field? Well, it's a full field, and that's what matters. First 3 races of the year. Everybody loves racing, and what a great year we're having. But looking at these cars, right, like Chad Green, moving in the right direction, J.R. Todd, the GR Supra, like everybody's got a story. Even John Smith and Dave Richards. We've seen Paul Smith knows how to tune one of those cars down Gainesville Raceway. They can even shock and surprise some guys in round 1.
Well, as we've seen with Paul over the years, he's not going to come out and run low AT. He's not going to set the track record. But way more often than not, he's going to go down the racetrack. So if one or both of the cars comes up that he's involved with and run 4.0 or run 398, even if it's possible to go out there and run 385, if you bobble this much trying to run 385, you're going to run 415, and then Paul will send you the trailer and he'll come back and do it again. So, it's almost a scary car in the way that if I'm going up against Robert, or if I'm going up against Matt or JR or Alexis or on and on, and I'm going, okay, I know that car's capable of running 385. So I either try to do that or I get my butt kicked. Well, I don't want to get my butt kicked. So if I go up there now, and if I smoke the tires trying to run 385 and he runs 385, okay. Or if we both smoke the tires and I can output them, but I go up there understanding this guy or girl has got a solid car. I've got to prepare for that. But if I go up against Paul, now you can't just automatically say, okay, well, this will be easy. Let me just draw it back and run 395. Because oftentimes, as we've seen over the years, it's more difficult to slow one down that's running good than it is to speed one up. And I know he's not going to let me get away with a mistake. So now, whether I'm looking at lane choice next round or whether I'm just looking at, look, we ran 385, 386 in qualifying, let's do this again. If for whatever reason it doesn't make it, now I look foolish because I lost to somebody that, at least in theory, I should have had covered. But if I try to slow the car down and it shakes and I get my butt kicked, then I'm really stupid because I knew how to run 385. So why the heck didn't I just go run 385 and win the race? And I think that makes some people a little bit more nervous because if I'm running Robert or Alexis, or I know I got to be on my game. People probably expect them to win. And if I get beat, I get beat. Right. But if I'm on the other side and I'm expected to win the race, then if you give it away, you look foolish, and that can kind of just twist the pressure the other way.
Okay, so, we've been talking about this whole call-out thing and how much we like it and we want more of it. Mark Robertson posted a while ago, I think Torrence will call out Sean Langdon, right? And I flashed it up on the screen. There's been a response. Sean Langdon says, nope, highly unlikely. Leah would be a smart choice, says Sean.
Well,
this is what the ladder doesn't allow, right? The ladder just sets the ladder. Like the one run 16, that's it. You're locked. You get no choice. You get nothing. There's no taking anything personally. There's no anything. It's just, there's no conversation. And that's what this is, why it's different. It's different. It's awesome. And I know they're going to have fun. It gives the racers a chance to put their own spin on something. And I love it. And then Mark Robertson is like, good luck, Sean. Good, good luck, Sean. Torrence is going to call out Langdon. It's like, good luck, Sean. Just kidding, Mark.
I'm looking forward to see it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And like I said, I hope everybody has fun with it. At this point, I now hope Leah and Sean race each other. Maybe second round.
Yeah.
It's like, well,
exactly.
Okay. You said ... And I don't think Leah's going to be shy when it comes to smack talking out there either. So it's just going to be fun.
Well, and it's just we're going to do this again with the funny cars guys at Indy. First of all, like someone had asked that, is this what's going to be happening at the U.S. National? Yes, this is it, except it's going to be the funny cars. This is the first time we've seen it, and I think it is so great. But you think of all the different layers of friction goes away. But then when you have something like this, like, did they have anything ever at any point? Oh, yeah, they did. There was a thing. Oh, my gosh. Okay, well, what about those two? Did they ever have some? Oh, my gosh, they had something too. And it's just kind of refocusing all of that stuff and super fun. And like Mike says, I hope we are able to do a really good job. Fox is going to have a very specific show all about this and call out, and it's going to be great. All right, let's move over.
I was lobbying too, just to throw one more log on the fire.
Yeah,
I was lobbying for
gas on the fire.
The Friday night qualifying session, low ET should be good for lane choice. Okay. If Steve calls out Brittany, just to pick two names out of the hat, he now would automatically have lane choice over her when she normally would have had lane choice over whoever she called out. So why not take that Friday night race? Because Friday night, everybody's going to get one and say, okay, guys, pressure's on now because low ET Friday is going to have lane choice. So now, if Steve wants to keep it, he's got to earn it. And if Steve thinks he can steal it from somebody else, they have a chance now to steal it back. And that would really make that Friday night qualifying session fun. And I guarantee you, as often as Sean Langdon and I agree, which is not very, even he would be with me on this because that would give him a chance to earn himself lane choice in round number 1 of the call-out race.
Right, which is important. A chance to earn. Well, again, this is the first year, and think of the countdown, right? Like they had the first eliminate, and they realized, no, man, that doesn't work. Let's change it. The ability, the desire to be flexible is what's important. All right, somebody had referenced like what Mike Salinas had said, and let's just play the clip real quick.
Sean Langdon put in a post. Whoever picks me, I'm going to make him pay. Be careful, buddy. Be careful. You never know what's going to happen. This could get you in trouble. And I never am like this in public. But I'm telling you, I'm going there to whip all their asses. Everybody. Don't care.
Doesn't care. He doesn't care. Mike doesn't care. He's going there to whip everybody's ass. Have you ever heard Mike Salinas talk like that, Alan?
No. But he had himself a really good race car in Phoenix. And I really think that he's feeling vindicated. Because, and you and I talked about this after Phoenix, the number of people when it was announced that Alan Johnson was going to go to Coletto's that went, well, you'll never hear of Mike Salinas again. And then he comes out second race of the season, didn't back into that, ran very well. And I think that he now feels vindicated. And I think that he feels we have shown you that our team didn't fall apart because Alan and Brian left. And we ain't falling apart now. We can still race with and outrun anybody out there.
Tickets are on sale for the Gator Nationals this weekend. Be there. Simple as that. Salinas is on a mission. Well, we'll see, right? Like you're on a mission 1 week. I felt so confident going into PBIR, Alan. It was great. Everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the face. And I got punched in the face and my plan fell apart. But that's racing, right? A sport built around different ways to lose. All right, let's talk pro stock. Any other Nitro thoughts about the Nitro ranks? We got 21 pro stockers out there. It is amazing. We got an FIA champion. We got the 3 Quadras. Val Smeeland is back. Alan Przinski running as good as he's ever run. Derek Kramer running as good as they've run in a while. Larry Morgan is back. Camry Caruso is, making her third start. And the usual suspects, right? The Aaron Stanfields, the Kyle Koretsky's, the Dallas Glens, the Greg Andersons and Erica Enders, Mason McGahey, Chris McGahey. They've all stepped forward and running better than they have, which is going to make the 3 qualifying session Gainesville race for 21 Pro Stock cars very tough. You cannot stumble early on.
No, and the real question in my mind is, has anybody been able to close the gap on Elite? Because they have had the best cars the first 2 races. And yes, I understand that Kyle qualified number 1 in Phoenix, but look who was in the final round, both races. Look at, the Elite guys went to work, definitely made some strides during the winter break and came out ready to race. The KB guys don't look like they've lost anything. It just looks like they've been caught up with and potentially passed. So I can promise you, after the first 2 races, because when everybody came west, I don't know of anybody that went home between Pomona and Phoenix. McGahey potentially could have, because he's a whole lot closer than anybody else. Maybe some guys flew some engines home and did some stuff. But I really think most of the teams were thinking to themselves, we'll get through the first 2, and then that'll buy us some time to go back and see where we're at and figure out what we've got to do. I doubt seriously that anybody has clocked out early at KB Racing for the last 10 days. I think that they went home and went, okay, we need to figure out where we're giving this up now. The McGahey cars both ran well in Phoenix, even though they had to race each other first round. And, they were certainly going to go back to work. One of them that I'm looking forward to, snap out of the funk, Matt Hartford. And it's not like he's had a bad car. It's just been snake bit, the fuel issue. When's the last time you heard of that, right? I mean, and for those who don't know, he had a run tossed because his fuel failed, and his fuel failed because it was mislabeled. He bought a new can of fuel, poured it in the car, it failed. He took the new can of fuel down, and they said, no, that's not the right stuff. So, that kind of put him in a bad spot on the ladder. But I'm really looking for him to kind of bust out of the funk. He was a guy that was certainly willing to talk during the off season that they were putting in, the extra time, the extra stuff. They want to be championship contenders. And so far he's been off to a little bit of a rocky start. So I'm looking for him to snap back out as well. But, with 21 cars there, same thing, just like what I just said of Top Fuel. If one of the non-usual suspects goes out and makes a great run Friday night or Saturday morning or whatever the hero session is, all of a sudden you could be looking at a championship contender that maybe doesn't qualify, because we really do have too many good cars in Pro Stock for the available spots in the field.
Yeah, the Hartford deal is exactly what I said, right? Like, you've got a plan, and they tested, they made 20 runs in Arizona, and that fuel problem, they got down the track, they ran a 57 in Pomona. Okay, except that run was kicked. Oops. And so now they're behind, and I don't think they have caught up yet to that incident. Coming out to the East Coast, fresh start. And remember, Hartford has the quickest ever unofficial run in Pro Stock, and it was in Orlando, Florida. Not that it's applicable, because they were doing very different track prep out there, but they know how to make a car go fast. It's just they've been behind. Hopefully this will be a fresh start for those guys. But I agree. Somebody big is going to DNQ, and we're going to be talking about it. What's going on there? All right, Pro Stock Motorcycle. First time this year. I'm super excited about having the bikes back. Matt Smith on a Suzuki, which is going to be interesting. Angel, just showing how the sea change has occurred, right? Suzuki across the board. Talked to Flying Ryan yesterday. Pretty interesting. Jerry Savoy going to be there. Michael Phillips back out. Not quite the 26 bikes we were having a couple of years ago, but we got enough. And Joey Gladstone, for instance, all back. It's going to be great to have the bikes back out. And that means NHRA is at full strength.
And I'm really looking forward to seeing, I think we'll know by Saturday night, kind of where everybody stands. I know there are a number of teams that are down here in Florida testing right now. I know there's some at Bradenton. I think there's some at Orlando. And everybody's trying to just kind of figure out this new combination, especially guys like Matt Smith, who changed everything. So, where are they now? And with the weight differential now, will somebody decide that a 2-valve Suzuki maybe is the way to go? because the 2-valve Suzuki all of a sudden has a pretty favorable weight break over the 4-valve Suzuki. So Jerry Savoie, for instance, I know he's got both engines. I know they switched back and forth a little bit over the course of last year. Could they go out and go, let's try this, maybe one way with Karen's bike and one way with Jerry's, and see which one actually works better? I just think there are more question marks in pro stock motorcycle coming into this year than there have been in a long time. I mean, a long time.
Yes. And if we recall last year, the end of last year, halfway on, it was wild with Steve Johnson and Angel and, Eddie making charge and Matt on the Red Rocket, which is going to be up there in the trailer anytime he needs it. And I wonder if Matt Smith is going to go all Tricky Ricky Smith with the nitrous turbo. I'm switching to turbo, but man, let me go back and get in the nitrous car because that's the comfortable shoe kind of situation, or whether Matt is going to stick to this program because he knows he's got a championship bike just sitting there and he wants to be part of this program. And, how will it go? And I think that's an interesting story, whatever happens.
I think so too. And I haven't spoken to anybody down there. I know that Angie has been known to tune in from time to time. So if she's watching, maybe she can shoot us a note in the comment section about, where they're at, because I know that Matt is committed to the Suzuki program. I also know that Matt is a smart enough racer that if they went testing and whatever the number is, and the Suzuki's 5 or 6 or 7 numbers back, he's probably going to bring the Buell out until he gets the Suzuki at least as good. At least that's what I would do. So I don't know exactly, where he stands. I think that's a really big question mark. They've always, or for the number of years now, done their own engine stuff, done their own thing. I don't think there's anybody that thinks Matt can't figure it out. It's just a matter of, has he got it figured out now? One of the things when I was living in the pro stock world was if we had one motor that was 200s quicker than everything else in the shop, we ain't taking that one apart. Okay, right. Let's make the others better and then go back, and you're always trying to work on what the slower combination is. So if he feels, and I'm sure he's made enough testing runs to be comfortable one way or the other, that the Suzuki is competitive and it's good and it's ready to go, then I'm assuming he'll be on it. But it would not completely surprise me if he goes testing and realizes that the Suzuki's not quite where he wants it to be yet. Bring out the red bike, run the first race or a couple of races or whatever it takes until if I know I've got a better horse in the barn, I'm not leaving it there. If I've been training the new horse and the new horse shows to be better, then that's fine. But if I don't believe that he would come rolling in knowing that he's on a bike that's a few numbers shorter or slower than the one that's in the trailer. Well, exactly. And that's what, in the couple of flirtations with the turbo cars that Ricky had, it was just comfort, right? Like, man, I can make that car run fast if I can win with it. Like, maybe it isn't as fast, but I can win with that because I've won with that. And I know how to, race it, because there's having a fast car and then this car that races well. And we'll see. I have a lot of confidence in Matt Smith, though, but that's just an interesting extra storyline to follow this year. Plus Angel and Eddie and, Andrew as a tuner, and just kind of cool storylines. But it's not just Pro Stock Motorcycle that is debuting in 2022. It is E3 Sparkplugs Pro Modified and Jose Gonzalez. Speaking of Mike Salinas, today's all about Mike Salinas, right? He was on last week. Everybody loved him. Everybody's like, who knew Mike Salinas was going to become one of the sport's most popular drivers? But it's interesting to see his rise. But he gave a lot of credit to Jose Gonzalez in his driving routine. Like, Mike, you are in the Pro Mod car. You must drive the Pro Mod car like a Pro Mod car. And Jose kind of coached him up, and he took that and applied it, and it's worked. Jose is the champ over there in E3 Sparkplugs. That's one of the pro line cars. But you got Stevie Fast, who's been making a lot of runs over there in the Middle East. We spoke with Lyle in his elite powered car. We spoke with JR Gray, feels really strong in the Janus car. Not to mention, Ricky is back for what has been said to be his final season, but we've heard that in the past. But I'm going to treat it that way until we hear otherwise. Sidney Frigo, Kalinal Belushi, Taylor Miller, Dwayne Wolf, Chris Thorne, and others. Jason Scruggs back. Good to see. Justin Bond. It's going to be a tough field of pro modified cars. 16 currently entered. And who's not on the entry list is Mike Salinas. And somebody had, Mike said he's running all the races, and he told us he's running all the races, but he's not on the entry list. So what's up with that? I don't know. He should be by now. So I don't know if there's a glitch or if there's something going on there, but I'm guessing glitch. To see. how many, if any, screw blower cars show up, because that this year is a new option. And, as we all know, when the Pro Chargers were made legal, it looked like a Pro Charger takeover. Everybody threw away their turbos and went Pro Charger racing. So I'm curious, now that screw blowers are legal, even though they are fairly heavily restricted, how many, if any, will be there, and then where it's all going to shake out.
Exactly. Roger Richards, every time Ricky retires, he wins the championship the following year. That is a good note, Roger. And it is true. It is true. Well, we will see what ends up happening with that. But I'm excited. And if you didn't see yesterday's show, check out Lyle and JR and just how they kind of talk about what they're going to do along with Stevie this year to try to amp it up. They told me that they had a lot of stuff kind of going on behind the scenes that they're going to try to bring forward for everybody to see this year. They were a couple of rookies. Now they feel comfortable and appreciated in the sport, as they should be. Like, we want them there and we want them to do that, and no one's going to kick them out, right? Like, they are part of our sport, and we want them to bring it. Constant Aviation Factory Stock Showdown. The champ, Aaron Stanfield, joined us on Friday last week, but David Barton was really fast. Second half of last year, those Barton cars were flying. I think Jesse Alexander was running in Comp Eliminator this past weekend. Was that a new ride, Alan?
Jesse Alexander was running in Comp. David Barton was running in Comp. Len Lotting was running in Comp. Dave Bells was running in Comp. It was a Comp Eliminator Factory Stock Showdown. Actually, Doug Winters had his Pro Mod running in Comp. So awesome. There were a number of guys that were down here doing a little testing and tuning. Barton was, I don't know, maybe the question mark, because I don't know that he ever took the thing to the stripe. He made a lot of 1,000-foot runs and threw the chutes out in Comp. So we'll see. I think that, the standard certainly has been set by Aaron the last couple of years, and, they didn't take the winter break off. So I expect guys to be stepping up. There's a new Dodge or two that's going to be in the field. Dodge has sweetened the pot a little bit. There's a big program now for if somebody wins in a Mopar, that there's going to be a little extra cheese on the table out there at the end of the day. So maybe that will incentivize somebody or some buddies to either build a Dodge or bring one back out and try to mix it up with the program. But I think there's going to be a lot going on there.
30 cars in Constant Aviation Factory Stock Showdown. Some big, one of the big teams is going to miss the show. It's almost certain.
Yeah. And, it should be fun. It's, first race, new year. Everybody wants to see, how, does their dyno tell them the truth? Are they really as fast as they think they're going to be? Are they going to? And that's another reason that I just really, really hope that we have good enough weather that we get all the qualifying sessions. Everybody gets their shots at it. We've been waiting all winter for this, and I just hope that we get to see the full show.
Brian misses the Factory Stock podcast. So do I, Brian, but don't worry. It's coming back. It's coming back. Every subscribe, Factory Stock podcast. It's coming back. We're going to bring that thing back. We're going to bring the beat back. Top Alcohol Dragster, 21 entries, Alan. Top Alcohol Funny Car, 7. What's up with that? I love Top Alcohol Funny Car, man. And we've got 7 entries. That just doesn't make any sense to me. What's going on with the Alky Funny Cars?
I wish I knew.
Let's build one, Alan. Me and you, this is our opportunity. I'll drive the tune.
Okay.
Those things, they don't blow up quite as big. I'll be all right.
Let's go. I'm ready. I got Steve Boggs' phone number. I think he'll probably help us. I got Terry Morrow's phone number. I know that he'd help us.
I think Bellamere will coach me up, man. Bellamere will coach me up. He'll understand that sure. I'm teachable.
I'm in. Actually, now that I think about it, Bartone has a spare car. Maybe we should just go borrow his.
There you go. Right. Well, we'll bring this up this weekend. Like Joe and Alan thinking about going Top Alcohol Funny Car racing. You know who would hate that idea? Evan. He would hate that idea.
So you're saying, which column does that go in?
I think we should do it.
Yeah. Another plus.
Another plus. We should definitely do it. Steve Johnson, do it. They all love the idea of us. No, but 7 alcohol funny cars, though. Like there's always like everything can't be great all at the same time. And that's one thing that I just don't get. 7 cars, the Gator Nationals. Come on now.
Yeah, I wish I knew what the magic answer was. And NHRA wishes they knew what the magic answer was also. There are a number of decent running cars out there. I do feel like the performance bar that Bellemere and Doug Gordon and Shane Westerfield to start the year have set, maybe have scared a few of them away. Guys that go out there and go, hey, look, okay, we know we can run 570, but we can't run 540. And so whether that's playing into it or not, I honestly don't know. But Matt Gill went 545 out here last weekend. So, that car certainly showed that it can jump up and run with the big boys. If the 7 cars we got here are all good cars, and I believe there are all good cars, they will put on a great show, even though they won't have, the full field.
Absolutely. Simple as that. But we'll start banging the drum for the Alki Funny cars. And that's pretty much a solid Gator Nationals preview. Obviously, Top Sportsman, Top Dragster, Super Comp, Super Gas, Stock, Super Stock, Comp. There's 20-something entries in Comp Eliminator. It's going to be a very busy weekend, Alan. Let's hope Ma Nature agrees. Any final thoughts, anything you want to say to the WFO universe as we get ready to launch the East Coast of NHRA Drag Racing?
2 things. One, congratulations, Madison Payne. She won out in Phoenix last weekend on the regional level, and that was her first regional win, driving, of course, Dwayne Shields' car. So congratulations to her. It's, you never forget your first win. So that had to be a special one. And the second one is I just want to send positive thoughts and good wishes out to David Gilliland's NASCAR team. One of their haulers was involved in what I understand was a pretty serious highway accident on the way to Phoenix. We went through that last year and wouldn't wish that on anybody. So I don't know any details other than the fact that what I've seen online, and that is that one of their haulers, the one that hauls Taylor Gray's ARCA car, was involved in a pretty serious accident. So just got fingers crossed and hope that everybody there is okay. You can fix trucks and trailers and race cars. I just hope that everybody's okay. It supposedly was a pretty bad deal. Yeah,
terrible stuff. Everybody get there safely. That's rule number 1, right? We get to the track, everyone get there safely. Appreciate it. Appreciate you, Alan. Good luck tonight at your Hall of Fame induction ceremony out there, inducting Vance and Hines. That is pretty cool. And then we'll see you out there in Gainesville in a couple of days, and we'll do it all again. We got Hardcore Thursday and just so much going on out there. I'm very excited. Can't wait to be there.
Yeah, and the ceremony tonight, it starts at, I believe, 7:15 East Coast time. It will be streamed on YouTube and I think on Facebook. If you look up Motorsports Hall of Fame of America and Google it and check it out, and if you want to look in, then please do. Larry Dixon will be one of the presenters. I'll be there. Vance and Hines, obviously. Jack Roush, Helio Castroneves. So there's some pretty big name motorsports folks that are involved and are going to be inducted this year, and it should be a fun evening. So I'm looking forward, like I said, to get together with the rest of the Penguins and having a fun night.
Awesome, Alan. Enjoy your time in Florida. Spend a lot of money.
Thanks, Joe. See you soon.
There goes the voice of the NHRA, Alan Reinhart, with us each week on WFO Radio. I encourage you to subscribe, whether on YouTube, WFO Radio TV, or the podcast, or however you choose to pick up our programming. We are all over the social media, and we even have a free mobile application. Just go to Apple or Google, type in WFO Radio, and the mobile application has actually been very resurgent. All right, let's see Michael Heiner. See you boys in a couple days. Yes, Michael Heiner, keep that ball rolling. You're doing pretty good. All right, I got a couple of things I want to throw out there, and then I got to bust out, because here's the deal. We have just received word, breaking news, that I'm going to connect with Robert Height today, and we'll play that interview tomorrow. I'm going to be on the road. It's not going to be a live deal, but it's going to be an interview with Robert Height after winning 2 in a row. So we're going to find out if that car is going to run 380s all year long. And so if you want to submit a question or two for Robert, you can email me, joe@wforadio.com. WFO, like wide freaking open, radio@gmail.com. Do it. joe@wforadio.com. And we'll ask the question for Robert when I interview him coming up here at 2:30. Chris says to see you Thursday. Oh, yeah, I'll be there. And on the note of Hall of Fames, Alan's got the Hall of Fame and streaming tonight. I will be at the International Drag Racing Hall of Fame induction ceremony on Thursday. It's at the Hilton. There, as I understand it, there are tickets still available, but they're getting down to the last couple. It's $110 to be there. You get a meal, and you get a cool scotch glass of the Hall of Fame, and you get to enjoy the induction ceremony. Who's going to be inducted? Scotty Cannon. Who's going to be inducted? Tim Richards by Joe Amato, right? There's going to be a lot of great stories and a lot of fun, and it's also going to be streamed for the first time ever. So if you can't make it to Gainesville, which it's much better if you're there in person, of course, but if you can't make it, you'll be able to watch on the stream and just be on the lookout. WFO will let you know which stream, because I think the Museum of Drag Racing page and the International Drag Racing Hall of Fame Facebook page is going to stream it. Couple of locations. So be there. It's going to be great. All right, final comments in the comments section, and I will tell you about the people who make it possible for me to go WFO, and then I'm going to share a couple of great photographs. A couple of photos. Like Marvin Rodak, Nitro Joe Morrison Top Fuel Blend of coffee. What's it taste like? How good is it? 817-924-6821. Rodax is partnered with Leverage Racing, and Marvin is supplying the coffee, which is great. I think we're even going to see a Rodax decal on that car at some point. Way to go, Nitro Joe. Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School, the Dragster Adventure at frankhawley.com. We're going to be up there, hopefully speak with Frank and connect with Frank as we talk about getting our audience to go out there and drive dragsters for fun. Samtech.edu, the School of Automotive Machinists and Technology, next generation crew members, engine builders, CNC programmers. All you young people out there, look, guys, you know, there's a million jobs that you can have, right? Working in a McDonald's in Russia is no longer an option, though, from what I understand. But being a machinist in America still is. Samtech.edu. Our great friends at Total Seal Piston Rings. Go to the website, totalseal.com, check out the podcast, and realize that you can order individual rings. Like if you mess one up, you can get an individual ring shipped right out. TotalSeal.com. And then there's FTI Performance, which we're very much going to the home of FTI. They're located in DeLand, FTIperformance.com, and super excited to see those guys battle it out this weekend. Torque converters, power glides, transmissions for pro mods, top sportsman, top dragster. Depends on how much power you're making. Give them a call. Tell them you heard about it on WFO Radio. And thanks to Paul Lee for stepping up with FTIperformance.com. So the other day, we had the Bakersfield March meet. I was not there, but I was, wishing I could be there. And I got a great email from a gentleman named Tom Mock, and he sent me just a whole load of photographs, and I want to share them with you. Like, here's Bucky Austin's machine. Bobby Cottrell wins funny car over Jeff Moniz, and we got a couple of great photos of that thing. Look at that. That is a spectacular nostalgia funny car. Brett Williamson won in Top Fuel, but I didn't get any photos from Tom. Won over Jim Murphy. But the Fuel Altereds, pretty spectacular. I'm under the impression that this is the race winner in Fuel Altered, Dan Hicks. That thing looks like a rocket. But also, just some of the cool other categories that they run out there at the March meet. And Jason Galvin was out there. Look at that shot in Bakersfield, a legendary place. And I have yet to be able to go because it happens in March. And it's just one of those things. The schedules are a little bit too tight. But thank you to Tom Mock for sending these photographs and giving me the permission to use them on WFO Radio from the Bakersfield March meet. We appreciate you and to everybody out there racing. Look at that. Wheels up. Love it. Now, me this past weekend, I did go racing. I did lose, but I had a great time. And that's it's the number 2 or 3 goal of racing. My buddy Corey Kramer went a couple of rounds. I was helping him out, doing the DuBois job, which was great, handling tire pressures and whatnot. It was a lot of fun. Me and the GTO, we did okay. I had a 001 reaction time, winning first round in the no box class, which was cool. I had a 12 in time runs, so I felt really good. And then it totally fell apart on me. I just fell to pieces, just totally fell apart. And I got it back together again after buying back in a couple of times and lost with a 60 dead 9 to a guy's 27. Mike Crook from Orlando. Way to go. All right, final comments in the comment section, guys. Let's see what you got. Gator Nationals. Predictions. This is something we've been doing. The 4 names of the Camping World Series drivers that are going to win the race. And I'm going to do this on Twitter on Sunday morning as well when I post the ladders and see if anyone gets it right. No one has even been remotely close. Let's see. Good call, Marvin. I'll order some. Talking about the Nitro Joe Morrison coffee. Everybody loves Nitro Joe. Way to go. Bobby Graham, love you guys. Got to get some work done. I'll rest tonight. Exactly. Scott, great show, Joe. Enjoyed Ignition also. Thank you, Scott. Ignition has been a lot of fun with our Patreons. These people are VIP members. They pay to be part of the WFO universe. They get special benefits. You can join. It's up to you. You got an extra, $5, $10, $20, $50, $100 a month just sitting around doing nothing unallocated. You want to help the WFO universe? Go to Patreon. You can definitely join and be a part of the show. Do you think if Ryan Martin have to race in the NHRA, they will put him in the Pro Mod class? That car does not translate to any NHRA category. But yeah, he'd have to run in the Pro Mod class. It's an 8th mile, no prep car. They're different. Just like everything else is specialized, that is specialized. But he's a pro line driver, right? Like Steve Petty's over there tuning that car, and he's tuning Jose Gonzalez's car. So I have full confidence that if Ryan Martin wanted to go NHRA Pro Mod racing and test himself against the best of the best of the best in competition, he would, he'd go Pro Mod racing like Lyle Barnett and J.R. Gray and Stevie Fast and Jose Gonzalez and all of those guys. The difference is, though, competition versus being on a television show. What are you trying to accomplish here, right? Like, is he trying to become famous? Is he trying to become well-known? Like, my gosh, man, this guy is very famous and very well-known doing the TV game show, which is really what it is. It's a TV game show. It's a racing game show. It's a competition TV show is what it is, with some reality flair. But he's clearly the best racer over there. Does he have what it takes to become an NHRA champion? I think he's going to ride that TV show out on as long as he can, because I think they're making, I don't know what the money deal is. I think, how much do they make? They do really well with t-shirts, all those NPK guys. They're killing it on t-shirts. They're making money, even though, our crowds are ultimately bigger, but their crowds are there to see those 10 guys. And I've experienced it, and it's something interesting. And so no disrespect to those guys, but really, look at Stevie, look at Lyle, look at JR. Like, they never knew that they could compete against the best until they came to the National Hot Rod Association. And that's also going to be true for Ryan Martin or anybody that competes over there in any other series, whether it be, in the Middle East or in the South America or whatever. You can't be the best until you've won in the NHRA. It's not my thing. It's just the way it is. Like, there's a lot of great ball players, right? A lot of great ball players on the playground courts of America. But until you're in the NBA, it's just the way it is. So I would love to see a Ryan Martin or a Lizzie Musey come over and run some Pro Mod and battle it out. But I also really genuinely understand what they're doing and respect what they're doing. Like, they've got a great gig going over there. They are celebrities in front of this amazing TV audience. And the racing is not bad by any means. It's really tough racing. Like, everybody over there is fast and getting faster, which is why the guys tuning the cars, that's the thing, like right below the TV level, it's the same guys. The Steve Petty's and the Adam Drzajich's, like, it's the same guys tuning the fastest cars. So it makes sense. Anyway, I'd love to see it. Nitro Joe is a great driver. We love Nitro Joe. Marvin should have debuted it live on WFO Radio. Derek, man, that is a mystery to me. That is a mystery. Great show as always, Joe, and thank you. Thank you, Jay. Monica, thanks, guys. Always love hearing from Alan. Have a safe time at the Gators. It's not too late, Monica. You can make it down. It's not too late, Monica. You can make it down. Thanks, guys. I'm looking forward to Gainesville. I'm sure I'll run into you at some point. Great show today. Way to go, Dugenet. See you on Thursday. Exactly. Any final thoughts? Final thoughts. Here we go. Here are the predictions, right? Here are the predictions. No. Got to get up here. The predictions. Man, they're coming in fast. Hot and heavy. Nice March Meat picks. Thanks for sharing. Way to go, Brenwald. Steve Brenwald Media. Dugenet. Hart to go back-to-back. Wow. Robert Height to go 3 in a row. Erica, Matt Smith. 001 Joe. Thank you, Michael. It was good. No, I've had a lot of good lights. None of it matters because I'll never race at the track ever again. It's over. Brittany, Height, Erica, Steve Johnson. Gotcha. Have a great weekend. Thank you. Could Alki funny car shortage because of funny car chaos? Maybe, but I would think having a funny car chaos would get people messing around with funny cars, and it would work in both directions. Like after people figured out funny car chaos, and they would want to test their metal in the NHRA level, right? Now I know there's money and all of that, but I don't know. There's a lot of things going on behind the scenes. Josh Hart back again for his home crowd. Alexis, Anderson, Stevie J. Way to go, Nikki. Good job. Lyle Barnett in Professional Modified. Thank you very much, Professional Modified. Torrence, Alexis, Anderson, Angel. What, there was no A driver in Top Fuel for you to pick? Come on. Alex Laughlin. Jim Zimmerman. Brittany Hagan, Hartford, Angel. Oh my gosh, the Hartford team is very happy to see that. Way to go, Jim. Thank you very much. What's up, Tim? How you doing, bud? Appreciate you. Steve Torrance, Caps, Erica, Matt Smith. Okay, we can kind of see where this is going. AJ would love that. Yeah, man. Come on, treat the kid. Get on a plane. He'll feel great. And then hold it above his head for the rest of his life. Remember that time I brought you to the Gator Nationals? Stevie Fast, Brittany Force going to win this weekend. All right. JP. Clay wins Top Fuel. They made the final round. Why not? Salinas Force, Erica, Matt Smith. Salinas gets a double in Pro Mod. That's his 2 cents. It's going to be a tuners race in Top Fuel this weekend. They're going to be flying on Thursday. Well, it's going to be fast if the weather is good. If it's dry. Don't forget to check out the merch store. Get your WFO gear, WFOradio.com. From what I hear, Brenwald Media, Steve Brenwald is working on a new design as we speak. A new design as we speak. And I'm super excited about it. All right, guys. I'm going to run. But we got Robert Height just minutes away. You'll see that tomorrow. You'll see it tomorrow. Appreciate all of you out there. Thank you so much. Podcast going to be a little delayed. So if you were watching live and you're going to go back and listen to the podcast, it'll be a little delayed, but later on this afternoon, be ready for that. And that's it. Maybe some alcohol funny card teams should help some teams like Pro Stock did recently. Well, exactly. That's the thing. Do you want to have somebody to race against? Or do you want to see a dwindling category that ultimately there's not enough people there to support? I love the Alki funny cars. I don't have the ability to do it. Maybe the top teams need to partner with some of the smaller teams and help them. That's a great concept, Mike. And that's what Pro Stock did to save their category. Now they're the strongest category, 22 Pro Stockers. And from what I hear, more on the way. So let's see. Thanks to everyone out there. Appreciate all you guys. I'm on my way to Gainesville. It's going to be great. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You'll hear me on the mic beginning on Friday. Going to have a great time. I appreciate Alan Reinhart weighing in from the beach. Appreciate everybody out there in the audience. Share the show, guys. Share the show. You are our marketing. You're it. And next time you need a transmission, obviously FTI. Next time you need piston rings, Total Seal. And we're working on some new sponsor relationships as well. To the people who have reached out, thank you. People who have become friends of WFO, thank you. Big things coming. It's going to be a great year. The East Coast is open. We'll see you in Gainesville. We'll see you tomorrow with Robert Height on tape, WFO.